Hello. Today we're going to be introducing our performance task. Remember, our performance task is what we are going to do throughout this unit in order to better prepare us for our final assessment at the end of the unit and the module as a whole. So, some time to think about what is the purpose of having criteria for something? Why will we create criteria for a presentation? So we use criteria to figure out if something has quality. Is it good? Since we are going to create our own presentations, we need to know how to write a quality slideshow. So by creating criteria, we'll know what to include in our own presentations. During this unit, you will complete a performance task, which is a presentation in which you'll share your research and narratives that you'll be working on during this unit. You will see an example of a slideshow and unpack that criteria for an effective presentation. Once we're done with this lesson, in lessons 2 and 3, you'll work on some research. Starting in lesson 5, you'll begin to work on your narrative, in which you'll use that research to create a new character, and you're going to rewrite a scene from The Lightning Thief using that character's point of view. In lesson 10, you'll return to the presentation creation. So, throughout Unit 3, you are going to write and revise a scene from The Lightning Thief. To be successful, you will have a multimedia presentation that will include all of the following things. You will need a description of your new character, a description of the Greek god or traditional figure who is the parent of a new character, a description of the scene that you have chosen from The Lightning Thief, an explanation of why you chose that scene, reading aloud your revised scene, and you'll need any relevant media, for example, different images that you would like to include. So for example, this is the model performance task slideshow, and this is the first slide that you may have on your presentation. As you can tell, it simply says Greek mythology and the Lightning Thief character presentation. This is the title that you can, if you choose, give to your presentation. It's super simple. The next slide on a performance task slideshow might be talking about the Greek god of sleep, Hypnos. As you can tell, the top part is the actual slide that you will use to present to the class or your audience, while the bottom piece is what you would say while presenting. This gives additional information about your slide or answers any questions that you needed to answer based on what was expected of you. So if we go back to our key criteria for success, that was our performance task anchor chart. And then we put that side by side right here with our task slideshow. And one of the slides that we would have, we can see that this is the second thing. It says a description of the Greek god or traditional figure who is the parent of the new character. So from here, we find out Hypnos is the Greek god of sleep, and we find out more about him, dad, mom, things like that. And then we know the question answer was, why did you pick him? This person says they chose him because they really like to sleep and they seem like an interesting god to know more about. The next slide gives additional information about the same thing. sometimes 1 or 2 slides isn't going to be enough. Sometimes you need to explain more about your character or tell more about their background. So here we see in the actual slideshow, it has a picture of maybe somebody going into a cave or something, has the word underworld, and then underneath it explains he lives in a cave in the underworld with his twin brother. He can use sleep for good or bad, just different information that tells us even more about this Greek god that they chose. And if you pay attention all the way at the bottom, there is a reference to where the image was found. This is super important. Most of us know that when we get our information to use inside of our slideshow, we need to make sure to copy down where we got it from. However, you should also remember to write down information, even if you just picked a picture from somewhere. That way, you can avoid things like plagiarism. So, what you guys are going to do, now that we have reviewed the performance task anchor chart, and then we looked at an example of how to model for characteristics listed on the anchor chart, which is just when we looked at the slide, looked at the chart, and figured out which one it was discussing and noted that, you are actually going to use the model performance task slideshow and the model performance task anchor chart that is going to be right below this video. In the discussion thread, post what characteristics on the anchor chart that you see done well in the model and state evidence from the model that supports your thinking. This will help you to better understand what the slideshow has and what you need. Also, be sure to state the kind of information you will need to research in order to be able to create a presentation like the one that you see. If you have any questions, be sure to ask your teacher. Thanks. Have a good day.